Before leaving for Beirut, I asked my friend Lucas if he knew of any crazy Jesus stories that we should consider capturing. And he told me about this girl that had a really intense story, but he wasn't sure whether she would talk to us. So great, thanks. You have this crazy story, but you're not sure whether or not she's going to talk to you. And as it turns out, she was willing to talk to us. And in all my traveling around the world and capturing different Jesus stories, this is one of my favorites for how faith-building it was for me, for how personal of a message Jesus gave me through it, and just what a privilege and an honor, absolute honor, to be able to travel places like Beirut and meet people like Stefanie. At age 19, Stefanie was diagnosed with breast cancer, which in her culture, they don't even use the word cancer. They call it that disease because of the fear they have over the idea of cancer itself.
Here in Lebanon, we use the word, I don't know the literal translation for it, but it's just like that disease. We don't say cancer, we say that disease. Whenever someone would say, I have that disease, it would mean cancer, okay? They're that much afraid of even saying the word cancer, okay? And just me hearing this was more like, oh dear God, you know? Like, I just sat down on the bench and it just hit me, and it hit me so hard. Like, I'm now 19 years old with cancer.
To be 19, and she's the only daughter, the eldest and only daughter in her family. She has 5 younger brothers, but she is like her dad's prized possession in their family. Months later, she's gone through chemotherapy. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. The breast cancer seems to be taken care of. Her family members are beginning to congratulate her for beating that disease. And within a very short time after seemingly having beaten cancer, the whole thing goes from bad to worse. And she realizes that she's beginning to feel like a lump or like pressure on the back of her head, and symptom, like weird feelings, weird sensations, weird symptoms. She goes back to the doctor. The doctor ends up diagnosing her with a brain tumor on her central nervous system.
I was just having a shower. I was already bald because of chemotherapy, and I just felt a lump behind my ear. And I literally freaked out, you know? And I called my psychologist and I'm like, I want to end this today and I'm committing suicide. And she's like, no, you cannot do this. You're strong and you've been through a lot and you just cannot give up now. And I'm like, this cannot be possible. I'm not even done with chemotherapy, that now I'm just getting another type of cancer. And she's like, maybe that's not the case. Maybe that's just sort of glands or anything that came out of because of chemotherapy, because of the intoxications and everything. And I'm like, no, I have a feeling, just the way I had a feeling that I have breast cancer, I'm now having a feeling that this is a tumor, you know? At that time, I had the most pessimistic oncologist on the face of earth. And he was like, that's not possible. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, literally that was what he said. He's like, if that's true, you're only gonna live for 7 months. Maybe like a month later, I was like, the symptoms were starting to show. My oncologist was like, I say you just quit university, you quit work, you go sit at home and take care of yourself. And I'm like, and by taking care of myself, you mean to die in a few months? That's not what I want. He's like, but that's God's will. And I'm like, if I were to quit university the way you're saying and just sit home, I'll be allowing death and not God, you know? And at some point I'm like, miracles do happen. And so he was like, you're dreaming too big. And that was the moment I'm like, no, you're thinking too small.